Hi guys, and welcome to this strong runner stretching video for runners. We're going to start off today stretching tibialis anterior, which is the muscle down the front of our shin, positioning ourselves so that all of our weight is sat straight above the ankle. If this stretch is a little bit too intense with the weight above the ankle, we can lean forward, placing our hands on the floor, which will ease a lot of the stress away from that joint. All of our stretches today will be for a minimum of 1 minute. Okay, so easing out of that stretch, we're now going to stretch the bottoms of our feet, working the range of movement through the big toe and the ankle. Again, we want to position our body weight directly above the joints in question, but if this is too intense, especially for the big toe, again we can lean further forward, placing our hands on the floor. Throughout all of our stretches today, we want to stay nice and relaxed and breathe throughout. We don't want to be straining too hard, trying to get extra range of movement that we just don't have today. Okay, so easing out of that position, we're now going to stretch the hips. So on this position, right foot forward, left leg back, stretching the hip flexor through the left hand side. We want to keep our torso nice and high, but we don't want to exaggerate the lower back curvature, so we're just going to rest our arms across the knee of our right leg. As we hold this stretch, we should really feel it down the front of that left hip. If this is intense enough, then we can just stay here. If we would like to extend the stretch, then we're going to grab that back leg, which is going to bring in the quadricep as well as the hip flexor. So this is now stretching us through two joints, the hip and the knee. Once again, we want that torso to be upright, but we don't want to be exaggerating the curve through our lower back and putting any undue pressure there. Now we're going to ease out of that position and we're going to swap sides. So now it's going to be left foot forward, stretching the hip flexor through that right side. Again, if this position is hard enough, then we can stay here. But if we want to, in a moment, we can grab that back leg to extend the stretch on the right hand side to include that quadricep. Easing out of that stretch, we're now going to sit down on the floor and we're going to stretch the glutes. So our first glute stretch is going to be for the left hand side, and we cross the left leg over the right and just hug that left knee into the chest. If this stretch is intense enough, then we can just stay there, or we can extend the stretch by adding in that torso twist. So we rotate over to the left hand side, we place our left hand on the floor, and our right hand hooks across the back of the left knee and then holds on to the right shin. This will extend the glute stretch, but also bring in a nice bit of rotation through the lower back. Easing out of there, before we swap sides, we're going to do a hamstring stretch for the right leg. Tucking that left foot against the right knee, we're just going to lean forward very gently, feeling that pull down the right hamstring. As we're there, it's important that we don't grab the ankle and pull ourselves down. We just want to take the range of movement that we've got freely available, knowing that over time this is going to improve. Easing out of that hamstring stretch, we're now going to swap and stretch the glute on the right hand side. So this time it's the right foot that steps over the left leg, and we hug that right knee into our chest. If that is intense enough, then we can stay there, but if you would like to extend the stretch, we now add in that rotation. Easing out of that stretch, we will now do our final stretch of the day, which is going to be that hamstring stretch down the left hand side. So again, we tuck the right foot against the left knee and we lean forward, easing that stretch on through the hamstring. As we're sat in this final stretch of the day, I'd like to thank you all for joining me for this stretch and remind you that every week I will be uploading a new follow along stretching video for runners. So as we ease out of that final stretch, I'd like to ask you to subscribe and hit the notifications so that you can get notified for when my next video is released next week. Thank you.